All right, it's Body and Soul, the show where we get to look at everything that has to do with your health and lifestyle choices. But today, being the 1st of May, we're having the Workers' Day edition, after which from next week we pick up from where we left off with our doctors, where we're talking about reproductive health. And I think we're on contraception before I had to take a few days off. All right, so we'll resume that next week, but today we're having the Workers' Day edition, and we are talking about how work affects us, especially when it comes to our health and lifestyle choices. Of course, we are in Nigeria in 2025. A lot of us found that we need to double the hustle. And it wasn't just some fancy thing that we get to say. It wasn't just some tagline that, you get to throw around in conversation. People literally had to double it up, double the grind, take on a little bit more than you typically would have handled, just so that you can make ends meet. You can meet up with the demands from the children at home, from the wife at home. And even if you're not married or you don't have children, you need to be able to take care of yourself. If you're one of the responsible people out there who is not solely dependent on how would I put this now, handouts, because some people, they make it their life's work to do that. And so, in the Nigeria of today, we had to double the hustle, double the grind, take on more stresses as far as your daily work, you're in and out, going out to make that bread and all of that. And we have found that having to do this will definitely take a toll on your health, right? And how you live your lives, right? There are people who would close work, say earlier on in the day, maybe between 4 or 5, at the most 6, you're home. But then you found out that you have to close from one and start another. A lot of people started to adapt to the remote working structure, where maybe you thought that the Naira wasn't paying enough, and so you decided, why don't I just work from home? Seems like better hours, right? Better pay. If you're lucky enough to be paid in foreign currency, that's another decision that some people had to make. But then you find out that it also takes a toll on you, and it affects you because you're more sedentary than before. That also has its own health implications. That also has its own effect, especially on your body and the way your body works, your metabolism and all of that, because sometimes it makes it just a little too easy to reach into the fridge or in the kitchen and then get something eaten. But bottom line is, when you think about work, especially in the last couple of years, you have to stop for a moment to take it and also take into consideration how it's affecting your health, if it's affecting your health. And so for the workers all across the FCT and wherever that you're listening in from, Body and Soul today is dedicated to you. We're going to have conversations, share with each other. Have you stopped to think about what work has been doing to you regularly? Or rather, what work these days has been doing to you? Have you stopped to take a moment to say, okay, this is probably what it used to be like before, and now it has changed. And now that it has changed, these are the changes that I've noticed in my body and in my system, okay? Have you stopped to think about, for some people, it's that they have to deal with the traffic situations. Of course, we know that work is stressful everywhere, but in Nigeria, if you are not as fortunate, you might have to add to the mental toll and the mental stress of dealing with your boss at work and dealing with naughty colleagues and the workload and all of that. You might have to add traffic to it. Of course, if you're listening in Lagos, you already know what I'm talking about. But even here in the FCT, there's some areas that, people find themselves in traffic for longer than is necessary. And all of this adds up, of course. For some people, the whole thing with work for you and why it's stressing you is because you're thinking about the added pressure that is coming from family members that you need to provide for, right? And so you might end up taking some work that you probably would not have taken. You're probably working under some conditions that you probably would not have agreed to ideally, right? And some people are just working in unforgivable work environments. It could be that you are maybe outside for unholy hours of the day because you have to make that bread. What is that doing to you in terms of your body, in terms of your mental space? By the time you get home, do you think that you're still a normal person, or do you feel like you need to sort of go through some form of deliverance for you to remove that persona that you had, from work and coming into the house, and then take on a different persona? Because some of us are unfortunately and unavoidably find ourselves bringing work back with us home, and you don't even know when you're doing it, but you're doing it, and it's having its effect as well, where you are taking it out on the people that you get back home to. And sometimes it's just that person that is just calling you to say hello. Maybe it's this family member, and some other family members have been on your case as far as, oh, uncle, I need this, or auntie, I need this. And so you're coming back home and you're thinking, I'm coming back into my space and maybe I can get a little bit of rest. And before you know what's happening, a call comes in and it's not even that relative, but you're taking it out on them. All of these things add up, right? Whether it is in the physical, whether it is in the mental space, all of these things add up. So for Workers' Day today on Body and Soul, I want to start by opening up the phone lines to you, and let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. What are the changes that you've noticed, if you've noticed any, as far as your body's response to your new schedules at work? Or it's probably not even new. It could just be that you've been doing this thing over and over and over and over again for maybe 5-10 years, and it doesn't seem to be changing. It doesn't seem to be getting better. And maybe your work and your bosses or your HR or whoever it is in your work environment, you're seeing the same thing over and over again. As a matter of fact, they're putting more pressure on you because they're letting you know that the fact that they have to keep you here and pay you nothing less than 70,000 naira minimum wage, or even upgrade you from 70,000 naira minimum wage, means that you have to put in double time. Right? You need to probably do the work of 5 people, where before you were doing the work of 2 people, because on a normal day, a lot of these places, you hardly ever get, what is standard in terms of your work and your roles and your responsibilities and your deliverables. So you're probably already doing the work of 2 people. And then you find out that because the way the economy is and all of that now, and your boss has to keep you. So for you to keep your job, you need to move from 2 people's work to 4 people or 5 people's work. Right? It's possible that in your work environment, they don't have health insurance. And so even though they will work you to the bone, at the end of the day, when it comes to going to go and treat yourself for some medical thing, you also have to probably even borrow, because what they've paid you is barely enough in terms of transportation. And you need to find your way to a hospital where you can get medical care and medical attention, because after all, where you work, they don't have health insurance. Okay, so let's talk. Okay, let's have a conversation about the changes you've noticed. Also, when was the last time you had a check, medically? And I believe in conversation with a few of my colleagues barely a week ago, this also came up in terms of how often one is able to go and do like a full medical checkup and everything. I think the recommendation is minimum once a year, right? But some people probably want to do it, but then they can't do it because, have you heard how much it costs? Right? And again, some of these things are probably not even covered by your health insurance. So when was the last time you had a medical checkup? You're working, yes, you're making that bread. Even though the value of the naira is what it is today, and so the money doesn't have as much value as you would have had some 2-3 years ago. It is money, and so you're making it anyway. It's probably going out faster than you're making it, and you're sitting down there and you just notice that your face is wrinkling up and you don't understand. You think, oh, it's old age. For the guys, maybe white hair showing up here and there. Maybe you have a full beard and white hair is showing 2 or 3 strands here and there. And you are thinking, oh, well, I'm getting distinguished. You don't know that it is the stresses of everything that is going on and your inability to maybe go to the hospital every now and then to get yourself checked that is adding up to all of those things. We've heard of young people just having strokes, suffering strokes, and all of that. You know, all of these things add up. So let's talk. What changes have you noticed? If you've noticed any changes in your body, and we will get to maybe things that we can do to help ourselves, so that we're not working only to just pass out one day and then, one side of your face, God forbid, and one side of your body just goes numb. We must ensure that in all of the work that we're doing in the Nigeria today that we're doing it, we're able to do one or two things that can help us improve. All right. So we'll get to all of that, but I want to hear from you first. What are the changes you've noticed, and what has work been like for you so much, and what effect has it had on your health? 07009510000 or 08095974869. On WhatsApp, it's 00959748669. Let's talk. Locomotion says this one is expo. Which one exactly? Please tell me the expo that I've given, so that I can catch up. Locomotion, chat me up. Let me know. I need to know what I gave as expo. Dozier, with the messages from earlier on. First of all, commenting on the Damian Marley song, says I was on my own and I was planning to talk to you next week, but you lured me out with that jam. I like so much. So mind yourself. Why will I mind myself when I know that I can say something or play something that will bring you out, Dozier? Never will I mind myself. Dozier also with a message says, I'm still not home yet. God knows when I will be. We are all laborers laboring away on Labor Day. When you see, you are the kind of people that I want to converse with at this time. I want to understand, has this always been your pattern, your work, Dozier? Because if you're not home at 10:25 or 9:44 actually, when you sent in the message, then I want to know why you have to stay out this long. Is it that that's just the demand of work? Is it that you like the work, or you're a workaholic? Or is it that, urgent 2K any which way, the hustle is real? I want to know why, and I also want to know what you're doing in terms of your health so that it doesn't affect you adversely. You had also mentioned the Anita Baker's Body and Soul. Well, thank you for telling me well done. I must do the work. That's why I'm here for you all. But let's talk about work and its impact on you. I see Locomotion also typing. But thank you so much. I'd like to hear from you as well. All right, then. We're talking about the work that we're doing today as laborers in the field, as Dossier put it, all laborers, he said, and the impact that it's having on your health. For some people, the biggest issue that they have is the struggle to sleep. Like, the sleep struggle is really real. Like, imagine going through such a long day and you get home, you just want to get some shut eye. You manage to find something to eat, because some people are even too tired to eat, right? I'm thinking about Dozier right now. I'm thinking, okay, did he buy something to take home with him? Or is he going to get home and then start to make something around this time? It's crazy. Like, I found myself by default with the work that I was doing at some point, now realizing, what am I saying? The work that I'm doing now, I found myself getting used to getting back home at the time after I close here by midnight, getting back home and still looking for something to eat. And it's something that I did for a while until my body started telling me no. Like, I would literally be bloated all the way into the morning. That was one thing that I noticed that, my work schedule was causing for me. And I'll be bloated into the morning, Sleep is uncomfortable. You wake up, you're still uncomfortable. My system is already funny as it is. I'm one of those people who has this weird thing, and I don't know if any other person who's listening has it as well. I cannot eat soup that I didn't make myself. I know. It's been 4 years now since I started having this. I can't eat soup I didn't make myself. I can't eat Titus fish that I did not make myself. And sometimes even when I eat Titus fish that I make myself, there's this, my system experiences a complete upheaval. I don't know what it is. Perhaps the medical experts who are listening can, sort of diagnose for me, even though I know I need to come and get like a proper check done. But this is just something I noticed. And so my system is already weird like that, right? So even if I say, okay, I want to buy something, to take, maybe something that when I get home I can just quickly warm and eat because of how late I work, right? My options are limited because as much as this is happening to me, there's nothing I love more than swallow. Like, I like my fufu and my semo and my what have you, my poundo with my soup. And I'm a sucker for some of these swallow options with egusi soup. So if I go out, typically that's what I'm getting more than rice. Like, rice used to be very rare for me. But when this thing started happening with my system, of course, my options were limited. Okay, I say, okay, even if I want to buy rice to eat now, the situation with the country is what it is. So apart from the fact that maybe the cheaper options as far as my reward for the food that I'm getting, is maybe like a fish, for instance. Not the big type, I like Titus every now and then. But I found out that I can't even go for that option anymore because not just because it's cheap. Titus is actually one of my favorite things to eat as far. I like fish generally, but Titus, you see that? Yeah. Used to be one of the more readily accessible ones. So go through all of that. I can't even buy takeout as much as I would like to because you eat rice, you retire now, and then I'm a swallow girl. So you basically get home, you can't eat some of the things you want to eat. And I start picking out other options that you ordinarily wouldn't consider. Call them fast food if you want, but I'm not talking about snacks. I'm talking about things that you can really quickly make, maybe 10, 15 minutes max, you're done. That's one thing that I found myself starting to do. And I did it so much so that I started experiencing this very uncomfortable, bloating. Like, my tummy would just be big and you just feel like I'm a gas cylinder because gas all just all over my system, and it was so uncomfortable. So again, like I said, one of the effects that I noticed, and then I started trying to consciously work towards it so that I don't find myself in that position where I have to be making these choices that I didn't think were helpful to me as far as my health was concerned. Do you understand what I mean? So, but it all started with, oh, you're working late, right? You're working late, and so you're a human being. Man must chop. When you get home, you must take something. So a change, for example, that I made was try as much as possible to eat as much as I can before 7 in the evening. And I eat probably, some people will call it intermittent fasting. There's that, right? I eat in such a way that by the time it's approaching 7, I'm stuffed. And I am stuffed enough for the next day. Now, of course, I am still human and I am still a foodie. So even if I get a bit of a hunger pang after 7, I have to look for options that will not make me uncomfortable, that will not make me bloated. I have to look for options that are relatively safe enough for my system. Now, some of these things you just want to do out of head knowledge, just kind of like to help you through. Doesn't mean that you're an expert in it, and you might still make some mistakes, but, you do your research, you visit a doctor, you get, consultation, you get some advice, and then it kind of helps you manage within your means, because there is trying to do this thing as a bigs boys and bigs girls, the whole trying to stay healthy and eat healthy thing. Like, if you leave me, I will have certain options that I would take with me into work so that, by the time I'm done, even before I get home, I can just quickly rush through it. but at the same time, it's not again going to cost me in terms of comfort or discomfort or even long-term health implications at the end of the day. But sometimes, your pocket will tell you to better behave yourself. And so, sometimes you have the means to do it and do the proper healthy fit fam, nutritional dietitian options and all that. Sometimes you don't, so you have to work within your means. Do you get what I mean? So I just said that to share my own experience of work and how it started to impact me, especially when it came to my health. Of course, lifestyle issues are also a factor. Lifestyle issues are also a factor. Sometimes you find that you have to socialize to pass the time, to beat the traffic, and in the course of doing that, what are you doing in terms of the options that you're choosing to put into your body, right? What are you doing in terms of the places that you go to? Some people are able enough to engage in activities that are maybe sports related, or maybe you are able to go to the gym to pass the time. Fantastic if you're able to do that. If you're not, what options are you left with? Remember, the phone lines are open. You shouldn't leave me talking about myself without sharing from your own end. I've asked the question, in the course of trying to make ends meet and doubling the hustle and doubling the grind, what effects has it had? Have you noticed that it has had on your health, or some of the decisions that you had to take around your health as a result of the work that you do, right? I'm thinking right now about the people who are on the streets, the e-hailing drivers, and how they're able to juggle their work, especially if they work late nights, with getting proper food in their systems, right? If you're working late nights, it probably means that you're sat in the car or you're in a sedentary position for the better part of your day. All of these things have health effects. I will also look at what workplaces are doing to help improve the health and the lifestyles of some of their workers, because that is also key. Okay. Adebaria Woodroy here says, good evening. I can't eat Titus fish and shower fish too, even if it's inside any soup. I can't eat such soup. This started about 15 years ago, and it's really causing issues in my home because my wife and kids like fish. Mr. Woodroy, I can relate. I can relate. Hey, God. Let me tell you how bad this thing is and how it affected me, or how it still affects me, to be honest. I think for the last 2 months or so, I've been doing, is a lie, strong head. I must chop this fish. So again, work doesn't allow for me to easily access my kitchen as often as I would like to. Talking about the impacts, right? So I find out that I'm eating at eateries every now and again, a little too often for my preferences, to be honest. Like if I had the choice, if I had the opportunity, I would always bring a home cooked meal with me out. But sometimes, especially in the nature of the work that I do, I have a ton of stuff to do during the day, and so once I leave the house early in the morning, that's it. Until I'm done midnight, I don't get the opportunity to go home. So imagine that even if you did bring something out to eat, right? You're able to cook over the weekend, you packed yourself something, you brought something out to eat. I'm saying that I'm trying to eat enough so that by 7 p.m. I stop eating. And so I will still need to find, if I pack breakfast, I will still need to find lunch. And so I end up going to an eatery and I'm trying to get something to eat. And the cost of what we see in some of these eateries these days, luau. Like, we know that the economy and life is happening to everybody, but sometimes you see a piece of protein and they say 4,000 naira, and I'm like, wait, first, that's more than half a kilo of meat. So, you walk into these places, you can't even really eat what you want to eat because you can't afford what you want to eat. And so if you look at some of the cheaper options, sometimes you find out that, okay, maybe a little Titus here, a little pomo there, a little roundabout, And so in the course of having to end up at these eateries, as much as I don't like to, I end up there and they're calling 4,000, for one piece of, she call it protein. A dear friend of mine says protein is not meat, but we do that these days. You say, "Oh, give me rice. What protein do you want?" And then you now start thinking, "Okay, is it chicken? Is it fish? Is it?" It's funny how we do that. I think that's one of those lingua nijas that we've developed. So, just walk with me on this one. You've picked your choice of meal, and then you're trying to decide on protein, and they say one piece of protein is 5,500 naira. You say, eh? So it's more than the food that I want to buy, for example, if you are like that. Because some people are not even on this level that I'm talking about. And it's okay. Good on you. Honestly, good on you. Right? So, but you want to take something as your reward. And then Titus fish is looking like the cheapest option. Baba, I knew I was not supposed to eat it. But on 2 occasions, I've gone ahead and I've bought it. And as I'm eating it, I'm going to take medication immediately, but stubborn head. So I understand what you mean when you say it's causing issues. Imagine going to my mother's house and she's cooked this bread, and it's a quite a woman that she is, God bless her, has cooked this bread, and you're seeing all kinds of soup, because some of our mothers, they don't cook one, they cook 2 3 at the same time. So there's a spread and it's like soup everywhere, poundo and pounded. And you can't eat it. My mother has taken offense with me so many times. Right now, when she sees me, if I go to the house and she sees me, she'll be like, you that cannot eat, see your rice over there. So I understand when you say it has caused issues. Because you can't explain why you cannot eat Titus or you cannot eat soup that you did not cook. It makes no sense. But thank you so much for sharing, Mr. Debari. Again, please, our medical professionals who are listening, perhaps hint at some kind of a diagnosis for us. Just help us diagnose what this thing is. It makes no sense. But I found myself having to deal with this issue because of changes that I had to make because of the work that I was doing. Right? Let's look at a few other areas where this is of concern. Okay, I was talking about workplaces and the role that they play, right? A huge percentage of workers are basically struggling with daily stresses of life, both in and out of the office, right? But in the office is key because to a large extent, a lot of us spend a considerable amount of our day in our office places, right? Except, like I mentioned, you're working from home. But again, if you're working from home, you also need to consider what are the adverse effects of having to sit down in one place or having just quick access to, all the mede in your fridge and freezer. If you're not keeping it healthy, it can still play a role. But let's come back to the workplaces, right? Some employers are deliberate. They are very few and far between, I would say. But some employers are deliberate about ensuring that their employees have health programs that give them the tools that they need to flourish. So you don't just want to be an employer, for example, that is just, throwing out the whip and whipping up your workers constantly. Come to work by this time. If you don't come to work by this time, sanctions, so you don't even care about how they're getting to work. If at all they're getting to work, you don't care about the fact that the salaries that you're paying them are barely enough to transport them to and from work every day, right? So some employers are particular about some of those things, and they can't do a lot. Again, like I said, the country is happening to everybody. So some of them, as much as they want to do a lot, maybe may not be able to do a lot, and so they're thinking, of what can they do? So, even if all they're able to do is get health insurance, I think it goes a long way, right? They encourage their staff to get annual health screenings and things like that. Some workplaces even go as far as either setting up workout areas or gyms, depending on where you are working. I know I've heard of at least one or two MDAs, and again I say MDAs under the scope of federal government workers, they have health insurance that allows for their workers to have discounts on gym memberships, or some workplaces, especially private, maybe have gyms within their areas, or partner with gyms close to them that allow for their workers to go and get those. I've also talked about health insurance, which is key. As a matter of fact, I will advise you very strongly, because again, I was talking about some of the decisions that we make when it comes to choices of where we want to work and all, being largely due to the pressures that we're facing. And you might be facing this pressure, and then when you get a job offer, you don't consider some other perks that will make you not just somebody who clocks in and clocks out and that's it, right? If you have the opportunity to be interviewed, maybe for work, in the next couple of days or weeks or months or what have you, you want to also always consider what other offerings that the workplaces are bringing. Health insurance is so key. See, I can't explain how much of a relief it is to be able to just walk into a hospital, right, and get medical care without having to think of how much do I have in my pocket right now to be able to access this care. That is one of the advantages that having health insurance, especially as supported by your workplace, provides for you. Okay, so even if it's that, maybe the gym membership thing was a bit of a stretch. Maybe the annual health screenings, especially if they pay for it, was a bit of a stretch, of which these things should not be, if we're speaking honestly, right? But health insurance is the very least, okay? And so as an employer, this is one consideration. As an employee, this is one consideration you might want to look at to say, okay, at least, if not anything, I have access to health insurance as supported or provided for by my office. So these are some of the things that workplaces can encourage and allow. When you want to talk about mental health, especially as it has to do with the Nigerian workplace, it's a bit of a sticky conversation to have there, because it takes a proper understanding of what it would look like in your employers to know if there's mental health issues there. Some people just believe that as long as you are not, mentally ill, then you are mentally well. I don't know how else to explain it, but you get what I mean. If you're not displaying signs of somebody who is not coherent, or somebody who is just moving around, literally moving mad, they don't know that you could also not be mentally well if you're not displaying all of those signs. So, like I said, it can be a bit sticky. Perhaps we'll look at one of the episodes where we can bring a mental health expert to expand on that, mental health within the workplace. But, talking from this point where I am today, these things are key. These things are key to ensure that workers in Nigeria have a proper balance, and they're able to go home and they're functioning as they should, and come back to work next day and still function as they should, if not better. If not, what you just have are people, like I said, clock in, you clock out, and at the end of the day, productivity is at an all-time low, and they go home and they're still not giving their 100%, because all the key areas that they should be looking at have been set aside. Hello, good evening. Oops, so sorry. Call me back. 07009510000 or 080959746869. So perhaps you're not even talking to me about it, but please be sure to think about it. In the work that you are currently engaged in, are you making out time to take care of yourself physically as well as mentally? Hello?
Yeah. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Somi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Abdul calling from Maitama.
Abdul, I want to shake my sheke for you. This is the first time you're calling in on the night show this year, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Let me say welcome back. Welcome back. Talk to me.
Thank you. Actually, you talk about health insurance, I'm going to talk about health in general and where we found ourselves in the respect of an ordinary citizen. If he fell sick in Nigeria today, he heads down to the general hospital with 100,000 naira. I don't think he's going to get a good care from that particular government hospital due to the government policy that they come up with because of the removal of subsidy. It affects a lot in this country without consultation from different angles within the 36 states on the respect of economy, health, education. Those people that government constantly promise they will give them security, health, education, and what have you, are the people from within the 36 states in the rural area, locality, and the state at all. Today, 100 naira value is just like 18,000 naira of 10 years ago or 15 years ago. When you take 100,000 naira, you went to the market, you will know what I'm saying. Government neglect a lot. So my advice to Nigerians, to our elderly people, more especially those that they are approaching 60, 70, 80, let them think and tell their own children next election when the government comes without plan on the respect of education, affordability of free health care, like Obamacare in the United States of America, that today Trump politicizing is trying to downgrade it, which so many Americans that know the value of free Obamacare, they couldn't allow him to go through. That is the reality we are facing here. When the election around the corner, they come out for campaign. Keep your PVC and able to move the government that has not think about the masses.
Okay.
Because of the hardship we found ourselves. That is the reality. Thank you very much. Keep doing what you're doing and do it very well. I'm going to get in touch constantly. I haven't known that you are back with your night program. That is the reason why you couldn't hear from me. But I just tweeted it. I said, let me listen to Nigeria Info and I'll find you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abdul.
And thank you to Nigeria Info.
Thank you so
God
much.
bless you.
God bless you too. All right, Abdul. Abdul took it to a whole other level, took it back to the government. I think when it came to accessibility of healthcare for the workers, and he says it's not as accessible, and you can link it back to government policy. It says that's an overriding factor any way you see it. Well, I mean, to some extent. But here's the thing. We're having this conversation today because we have to take the power and put it back in our hands and see what are the things that we can do for ourselves. And sometimes it is looking at the reality of where you are, whether you're a civil servant, public servant, or you're working within a private firm, and say, what are the changes that I can make for myself, for my health today? Sometimes it could be as little as just ensuring that if you have sat down for the better part of your day, maybe half of a day, 12 hours or so, sometimes it could just be that, okay, because I know that my work is such that I'm sedentary for the better part of it, I have to make provision for activities that can help my blood flow to regularize once I get up and I get out of work. Sometimes it's as little as that. And we say little, but it has a huge effect. But you cannot go, for example, from a sedentary lifestyle at work, and then you get home and, yes, you're tired, you want to rest and all of that, and you just go back and you're sitting down as well. Maybe you want to catch up on the latest show or latest sports, the match, or what have you. So you're sedentary at work, at home, Sometimes it could be that your workplace is not providing health insurance for you. Are there avenues that you can take advantage of when it comes to these things, even if it's not provided by the work. But you will say, oh, my office is not doing it for me, and so the government is not doing it for me, and so to that effect, I'm on waiting. I see now I go work with. What is your body telling you? Don't let your body get to the point where it has gone from whispering to screaming, and then it's having long-term effects before you now tie it back to what was happening in your workplace that got you to that point in the first place. That's why we're having this conversation today. Good evening.
Yeah, Somi, good evening.
Welcome, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Justice of Peace.
Justice of Peace. Good to have you here, boss. Talk to me.
Happy New Month, ma.
Same to you. Happy Workers' Day.
The workers really happy.
Are you happy as a worker in Nigeria?
Is a question. Happy Workers' Day. Are the workers really happy?
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm talking to one worker right now, so I'm asking you directly. Are you happy as a worker in Nigeria?
I'm happy.
You are? Interesting. So are you happy because you choose to be, or are you happy because your work environment allows for you to be?
I'm happy because I choose to be.
There it is. Sometimes that's all that you need. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So the work that you do, does it have any effect? Have you noticed any effect on your health or your lifestyle choices?
For mine, I think the effect might not be that visible, like danger, visible danger. But as an individual, I once in a while visit my doctor for a proper checkup and counseling once in a while.
Okay.
As an individual. And it's very good because it helps ahead of time for one to take precaution. It's very helpful. So outside maybe government policies or is very good. You see, at times when I look at what is going on in this country, I felt bad because when the white men came here with their businesses and they established, they made things life very good. Like this kind of medical attention. Most organizations serve as of when I know. They even give, in as much you are working in this organization, even your wife and your children as a man are entitled to medical attention. Free. The company foot the bills to make sure that you that are working for them, you have a concentrated mind. But I discovered since Nigeria, the blacks, the Nigerians begin to take over most of this business, even in the oil industry.
Justice of Peace, are you there? Hello? Are you there? Hello?
They just
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You just came back.
So I think I will encourage individuals. Please, we should do our best. You see people working for someone, no medical care, nothing. We really have to work on this thing. Please, everyone must make time to do some proper check for him. It's a very long way, man.
Thank you so much, Justice of Peace. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Making reference to health insurance as perhaps a requirement that should be considered basic by both employers and employees at the point of their negotiation. Honestly, I think that one is so key because just like he said, when you create a certain sense of how I put it, a certain environment that allows your worker to feel like they're part of something, like they truly are a part of something. You know, you're not just there to pay them a salary and watch them work their butts off and then go and come back again the next day, and they're repeating that cycle. Because honestly, routines can be very, very like, if there's nothing outside of the routine, I think long term can be counterproductive, right? So as somebody who is looking to employ people, or as somebody who's looking to work in a particular environment, you need something outside of your monthly salary at the end of the day to motivate you and to ensure that you're mentally giving 100% to your workplace. And I think this is one of the perks. Justice of Peace was talking about white men making provision for some of these things. I think that there are certain places, again, like I said earlier, they're probably few and far between, maybe too few and far for my liking, but there are some employers of labor here in the country who probably take those things into consideration, because they're very particular about the kind of people that they want working for them. And so they want to be able to keep the best people, keep the best hands there. And so they would, make provision for some of these things, right? For the people who are not doing that, honestly, you need to take a look at it, because, staff turnover, a lot of the time, when you check it, it's places that either have the most hostile work environments, or are the most inconsiderate as far as their staff welfare outside of the salaries that they are paying them. Do your research and check, and let me know if you feel differently about these places that have the highest staff turnover. So you want to consider that. I've also had conversations with people where they're like, oh, I have these two options. Or there's this place that's paying me so amount. And I'm like, okay, are there any other perks on the job? And they're like, no, but the amount is really high. And then what's the alternative? Maybe this other place is probably like 100,000 or 50,000 less in terms of remuneration, but they have some of the other perks, like the health insurance. They have, this plan and that plan for their staff and all of that. You think that the people who are doing that are just doing that because they have money to spend? No. These are some of the things that contribute to exactly what you're going to get from your employees in terms of output and how productive they can actually be when they have these things. You're working in high-risk areas where they're working with machinery and equipment, and you don't put some of these things in place to say, oh, if this happens, for example, this is where you can go and get health care at a reduced cost or at no cost. Or if this happens, God forbid something happens to you, your wife and your family are covered, just like Justice Peace mentioned, or they can be taken care of, things like that. Go and check it. Yes, yes. I honestly and truly, some people have come up with some of the most beautiful initiatives as far as workers' welfare, and some workers are just out to ruin you and destroy you and ruin your reputation. But more often than not, when you have these things that allow for your work environment to be more conducive, because there are the perks, and then there's also the fact that just one word from you and it can strip the person of their entire dignity. That's also something that will contribute to how much they're able to put into doing the work that they're doing on a daily basis, and whether they're able to commit to you mentally as well as physically. We know that some people take advantage of these things, but when you're looking at high staff turnover, a lot of the time there's little or nothing on offer to keep the people there. As employees giving their all. Now, I've addressed this from the point of the employees, but I've also talked about the fact that even I addressed it from the part of employers, but I've also talked about the fact that on the part of employees, sometimes we're a little too excited about what's on the surface, that we don't look deep enough. And so what you then find is that because you haven't committed to a place that is considering you in all ramifications, or as many ramifications as possible, you will end up jumping from pillar to post when it comes to work matters as well. And does it really help at the end of the day if that's the kind of person you decide to be, where you work here for a couple of months and somebody says something that you don't like and then you move, even though they're providing pretty much all of the right kinds of environments for you to work in and thrive in. Okay, so we've touched on quite a number of areas, and everything from as a worker, what you're doing in terms of your in what they call feeding and dieting choices. We've also talked about what you're doing in terms of getting your health checked and ensuring that you're working in an environment that provides some sort of welfare for you medically, that allows you to not have to deal with some of those things at 100% cost to yourself, which perhaps will be a bit of a strain on you. I go back again to the unfortunate story of the man who lost his wife because of a deposit that she couldn't make. These are some of the things that you get, some of the benefits that you get when you have an active health insurance plan, because once you're able to get to the designated medical facility, then they're giving you the care that you need, and you're not having to think about making a deposit. In the event that maybe some of the things that you're requiring in terms of healthcare are not provided by your plan, there is still a sort of like a soft landing for you. So again, health care and insurance, some of the things that you should be considering as someone who's looking to find work, not just what the remuneration is. Honestly, for some of us, we need to think outside of the box on things like that, okay? Let's touch on a few more areas very quickly, and then we'll bring the conversation to a close. It's already 11:04 p.m. Know this, that work would typically, more often than not, bleed into your personal time. And so you need to find ways to separate your work from your personal time, from your family time, sometimes from just you time. And when a society that, to a large extent, values community, you want to be able to ensure that you are maintaining the community that matters, not letting work suck up every possible bit of your time, so much so that you can't even find a way to balance it out, right? For some of you, perhaps this is the struggle. You're working so much so that you don't have time to, detox from work and just focus on communication and conversations with friends and family members. You want to be able to, as much as possible, find a dividing line and set those two things apart, okay? Keeping work away from your personal life. We've touched a little bit on eating habits. As much as possible, try and avoid eating on the go. God help us, those of us who are caught up in this particular one. Right? You want to be able to do that. You have to take back control. If you are in a position or in a workplace or in a workspace where all it is for you 100%, 24 hours a day, 7 days of the week, if all it is work. If all it is work. Sometimes if you're able to just think and make one change here, one change there, it might get you to the point where you are balanced out enough, and then you're not having to drastically make a decision, because some people, they'd be like, after all, by the time everything has piled up, the stresses from work, the stresses from home, the stresses from you not able to find time from yourself, one day will just build up, and you're like, you want to quit your job. Quit your job and go where? Sometimes, if we're able to fix something here, tweak something there, then you might find out that you will not be pushed to that point. So think, what small practical steps can you take within the context of the work that you're working right now to help you mitigate any side effects that can come up and affect your health, that can come up and affect your relationships at home, with friends, with the communities that matter. Because there's your own is your own. What's not your own is not your own, basically. So you want to be able to work on building your own, even if it's just your own community, your own time with family, your own time with friends. You want to be able to do that. All these things go a long way in balancing us out mentally to be able to return to the stresses that we'll find at the workplace and get through them without blowing our tops off. Let's take a call. Hello, good morning. Did I say good morning? Hey, what's happening, Abuja? Leave me alone. Good evening. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Esther.
Welcome, Esther.
Thank you. Good day. I hope all is well.
Absolutely. Everything is nice.
Thank God. Well, what you have been saying today is like you're talking to me directly.
Oh, wow.
But I'm grateful to God. My kind of job is so stressful. But I thank God Almighty. I close late. I work every day, Sunday. Every day I work. Sometimes I don't even have time to go to church. Even off days that I used to have twice in a month is a problem. If I said I want to put together another one, people will say you have to be patient and continue. I still talk. I spoke to my boss about it, but I don't think she's doing anything about it. And the stress is too much on me. Even right now I'm on medication. Stress is too much. And I don't know. I'm really thinking of quitting.
Oh, wow.
They're like, no, try to balance it, but honestly, I know what I'm bearing. It's a lot of work for me, and I'm bearing a lot. Because even if I'm sick, I still work. Even if I'm on medication, I'm working. So that's just it. Sunday, Monday, all around the clock, I work. And I really feel...
Even on Sundays?
Every day, even on Sunday. Sometimes if she knew that I want to go to church, but she will do her things and believe me, we are going. Sometimes I will not go. But like last Sunday of the month is Holy Communion. I really want to take Holy Communion. It's another problem. Sometimes I will tell her I want to go to church. Sometimes she'll just come up and say, why didn't I tell her a week before? Give her a notice.
That you want to go to church on a Sunday?
Go to church, yes. And sometimes on Sunday, I have to cook and keep before I go. She knew. My boss will ask me, she knew I want to go to church. Bible study starts 8. Main service starts 9. Highest by 12 we are out. But she knew I want to go to church. I have to finish breakfast. I'll make lunch and eat. She'll say, I'm coming. Let me stay with the boss. She'll go upstairs and stay there and be pressing phone. She'll later come down. Sometimes, okay, wait for me. Let me take my bath. After 9, that I should wait for her. She wants to go and pour water. Sometimes you see, even on Sunday, she knew I want to go to church. She said, let me take the boy to the walk in the estate. Let him go and have fresh air. He's disturbing her. We will come back. Okay, sometime in the morning, I want to quickly finish food to keep them to go to church. I've started. She say, no, leave the food off the gas. Off the gas. Take the boy out for a walk. And she knew I'm going to church. So sometimes I'm so tired and I don't know. Honestly, I don't really want to tell many people the things I pass through. But my kind of body, when they see me, they thought that I'm enjoying it. And they don't know. And right now, what my boss is doing now, I'm really, really upset. I don't even know what to do. Because the load is too much on me. The work is too much on me. I told her to get an assistant, to get somebody. Since I'm the only one doing all the job and she never added my salary, we were two before. Yes, we were two. And we were two. I'm sorry, it's not that I don't mean to spoil my boss. But
I understand you.
Honestly, I really need to say it out because it's hurting me. Because if we were two, I came as a cook. But today, I do cooking, I take care of the baby, I do cleaning, 4 rooms in that house and everything, and I still cook breakfast, dinner, and lunch, and I take care of the baby, and I clean. When the other ones left, She did not add my salary, nothing. She have been looking at me. I've been working for the whole year. Second year came. The same thing. Last year I was so tired. Doctor told me, my dear, you need to rest. You are stressful. I said, okay. I told her she should get somebody. She got one girl. The girl just worked for 4 months and left.
Okay.
Then we came back this year again, the same thing. Then I have to talk to her, get somebody. At least the person will help. If I'm upstairs with the baby, for me to finish and come down around 9, to start doing downstairs, clearing, dishes, doing things, that person can finish that one.
Okay,
She did not do that. She just got one guy. The guy now, he always come on Wednesday and on Saturday to clean the house.
Okay.
And I find out that she's even paying him more than me.
All right, Esther. I mean, like you said, you're not trying to malign your boss's character and all of that, but there's certain things that are happening in terms of your experience with working there that are not good for you. I would probably say, is it possible to ask your boss or have a discussion with your boss about at least having a day or two off every week? Because no human being can function at full capacity working around the clock all day, 24 hours a day. So there are aspects of you that she's not even getting the best because of the hours and the days that you work. Is it possible that you can start by having a conversation? Because from what I've heard you say, this is not a bad person. She's not a bad woman. You're not trying to malign her, but these things are affecting you. So could you start by having a conversation about off days for a start?
I did, but I don't know. Sometimes, even the off days, we agreed twice in a month. And I'll go on Saturday, I'll come back on Sunday evening. You know, sometimes Saturday for me to go to off, 2 o'clock, I'm still at work. I'm still working. 3 o'clock, I'm still working. Sometimes I'll be leaving work here by 4 o'clock that I'm going to off. Before I get to where I'm going, the things I'm supposed to do, time I've gone. The next day, I'm tired.
Okay.
I have to rest. I will not rest.
Okay. I mean, it seems like you want to work for this person. So push again, have the conversation. I don't know if sometimes I think the problem with these things is that we're so out of options that, you know, it will now be like, oh, if you want to insist on some of these things, it's like you're giving an ultimatum, and some employers can be very mean, or when they take that position and they be like, after all, yeah, come and be going, let me see what else you have to do. So I don't want you to lose the work that you are working with this person. If it's something that you enjoy, if it's something that you want to continue doing, all you are requiring is some time off, then I feel like you should push for the conversation again and hopefully make her see reason. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it's your life, it's your health that is under consideration, it's your mental well-being that's under consideration, and God forbid anything happens, they will find someone else. They will that's when you realize that you are not indispensable. So that you're not just walking out. Like I said, you know, you don't want to get things to pile up to the point where you are now pushed to quit. Please try and push and have that conversation again. Be firm, be insistent, and then you be the judge of whether this person that you're working with is just plain inconsiderate and deserves your your commitment and your dedication and all of that, or if you're to put your energy into some other thing, will it benefit you? There's always that scare, especially when you are leaving a sure source of income. I can't even lie. It's there. You know, so have the conversation again and push for it. And then let it be that they're able to understand you. Or if they choose not to understand you, then you decide what next to do. Okay?
All right.
Thank you so much, Esther. Thank you. I hope this has helped. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, then. We are bringing the conversation to a close right now. But let me take this message. Adebari Awodoye wrote in, I think, concerning your comment, Esther. And he says, please, she shouldn't be afraid of losing her job. If she dies today, nothing will happen. Life goes on. That's not a good working environment at all. She will get another job with time, I assure her. This I know. The problem is, are we able to go through the transition period? It can be a bit difficult. But when you consider what is at stake, weigh the two and you know what you need to do. I'll take this last call. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Welcome.
Thank you. How is work?
Work is good. How are you? Happy Workers' Day.
Oh, fine, fine. Let me borrow the word of justice of peace. The workers really happy.
And let me ask, like I asked him, are you happy?
So I choose to. I choose to be happy.
Are you a 9-to-5er or are you an entrepreneur, a business owner?
I work in a company.
Okay.
Yeah, the engineer of a profession.
Okay. Any adverse effects that working has had on you? Or do you have any tips that you want to share on how people can stay healthy?
Yes. Yes. Actually, up until now, but before then, right when I was in school back then, funny enough, I was working and I was schooling at the same time. I go to work, I go to school daytime, then at night I go to work. From lectures to work, from lectures to work. Like, yeah. So should I say, it tells on me back then. And funny enough, like you said sometime back, I might come back from from school. I will just take permission from my place of work, my colleagues. I will have to go home, prepare something to eat, and come back. Sometimes, let's say by 2 a.m., 1 a.m., I eat. Actually, I haven't had any side effect, no. Nothing like that side effect. But I'm just concerned about the future. I don't know. Yeah, that's just my own.
Could it be
aspect.
that, like justice of peace, you can't see it on the outside, but is it possible that something is happening on the inside, right?
Nothing really is happening on the inside.
Have you gotten a medical check recently?
Yes, I do go for medical checkups.
Okay.
My BP, my blood pressure, my heartbeat, even liver tests have come. Everything seems to be okay. Okay.
And may it continue to be that way for you. So what then is causing you to be concerned?
No, I'm just like trying to share my experience. I don't know. I don't know if it might occur, which I don't think it might occur in the future. That's why I just let me share it.
I mean, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. And I like the fact that you say you're getting all your medical checks done. And if there's nothing now with your current practice, even with the late eating and all that, if there's nothing now, then the prayer is that nothing should show up much later as a result of this. Because I think what happens on the inside of our bodies is, even though we can't see it, even though sometimes we may not feel it, the signs are always there. So if you've done your medical checks and there is nothing there, then, I mean, good for you, and may it continue to be so. Just make sure that you keep getting those checks done, okay?
Yes, I will.
Thank you so much for sharing.
All right.
I'm grateful.
Thank you very much.
Have a good
quick
night.
one, please.
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, like concerning that lady that she had experience in a place of work and all that. Let me use the word of the last caller that you read. So she shouldn't be afraid of losing her job. Yes, like seriously, she really need to sit down with the boss, talk to her. If the place is not convenient for her, let her just let her just quit the job. At least her health is more important than the job. So just just the advice for her. Esther, right?
Esther, yes.
All so right, she shouldn't be afraid of losing the job. She don't know. As she is there now, she might not get the better one outside. Possibly if she lives there now, she might get a better one.
Or she might get something worse, which is also a consideration.
She might get. Yes. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful. All right, we're bringing the conversation to a close at this point. I just want to quickly acknowledge the people who have been following online, following the streams online. I have RDC Africa, who let me know. Let me see if I can get this. Je vous suis depuis Kinshasa, la capitale de. Okay, if I'm translating this correctly, this person wrote in from Kinshasa. That's the what they call it now, Congo. Yes, from Congo. Okay, if I translated that correctly, thank you so much for joining in. Let me see if I can even break it down. I'm following you from Kinshasa, the capital of DRC. Fantastic. Thank you, RDC Africa, for checking in. Benjamin E. Uzo says, good evening, Somi. Good evening. I'm good. It's good joining you today. It's good having you joining as well. Joe Abem just wrote, says, I'm just missing Somi. No afternoon duty again. But the special grace of God, after tomorrow, I'm back fully on the night show. So you can expect that you won't have to miss me again, because I will be here Monday through Friday from 9 to midnight. I sense that I would not be affected either by the Champions League matches to a large extent. The return leg is next week. I think from yesterday's matches, the return leg is next week. So even with that, at the most by 10:30, I will be here. That's on the match days. That's Tuesday and Wednesday. Other than that, I'm here every other day of the week. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for checking in. All right, Body and Soul has come to a close. It's 11:26 p.m. Just remember all the tidbits we shared today. In the current climb that we find ourselves with, the work that we must work, make sure that you're taking care of yourself across all the angles that we talked about. Try and try and consider all of those aspects, okay? So that you are not just 100%, but then you can give 100% as well in all the areas you're required to. When you're at work, and when you're at home, you are delivering at home as well. Thank you so much for joining in on the conversation. When we come back from this break, it's the late night request show. So start sending your requests in, and I'll play pretty much anything you would like for me to play for you today, as today is Thursday, so we're not specific on genre. It's 95.1 Nigeria Info, and I'll be right back.
Come, let's take you on a late night rendezvous where intimacy meets insight, where we explore the secrets of smart lifestyle choices, sexual health, and the science of self-care. With leading medical experts guiding the conversation. We're here to educate, empower, and ignite your curiosity. Because your body and soul deserve the best. Late night.
This is Nigeria Info.